Sí, sí, el sábado. He still has it, and Saturday we're going to show it.
You believe you knock him out?
Yeah, why not?
I don't want to see Terence fight Canelo, but I would love to see him fight anybody in that division because even up to 154 because I think he's the cream of the crop.
At the final press conference, Canelo Alvarez's trainer Eddie Reynoso unleashed a bold warning toward Terence Crawford. He promised fans would witness the best version of Canelo on fight night, guaranteeing a knockout victory. Reynoso emphasized Canelo's power, experience, and relentless style would prove overwhelming for Crawford.
Think of him sometimes like Marvin Hagler, who when he fought Duran, he gave him too much respect, and it was close. So when he fought Hearns, he thought, no, I'm going to go knock him out. What mentality do you want Canelo to have for this fight?
Canelo Alvarez has long embodied the aura of a confident champion who thrives when the stakes are highest. In a recent statement, he made it clear that he's not only eager for his upcoming showdown with Terence Crawford, but also absolutely certain of the outcome, predicting a knockout win. Such bold declarations are nothing new for Canelo, who has built his reputation on fearlessness, determination, and an ability to back up his words in the ring. His devastating knockout power has been a defining trademark, having dismantled elite opponents throughout his career. By promising to stop Crawford, Canelo sends a psychological warning to his rival and a bold assurance to his fans.
Thinks Bomac might throw Metalli to stop the fight.
Oh, could be. In boxing, everything can happen, right?
You believe you knock him out?
Yeah, why not?
Well, you said last year you have everything to lose and nothing to gain, and because you said if he wins, you don't know if you win.
No, you know.
Say he's too small.
Yeah.
Is that still the same for you now?
No, you know, when you don't have in mind one fight, you think in that way. But when you see how big is this fight, it's a big fight.
While Canelo Alvarez acknowledged that Terence Crawford appears impressive in his new physical condition, he quickly dismissed its significance once they step into the ring. For Canelo, the fight will ultimately define who he truly is as a champion. He pointed out that every major showdown brings endless speculation, debates, and doubts from fans and analysts alike, each holding strong opinions on the outcome. Yet, Alvarez remains completely unfazed by outside noise. His confidence is rooted in the belief that predictions and discussions mean little. In the end, he insists the truth will be revealed, and he will prove himself where it matters most, inside the ring.
It's good. I feel happy because, you know, that you realize it's going to be a good fight. So we expect a good fight.
There are rumors circulating. A lot of people, conspiracy theories, think that it's photoshopped. What's your opinion?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, people always talk, speculate and everything, but that's good. Around big fights always happen.
You're somebody who has moved up and through the weights himself. What do you think the biggest challenge of it is, and what do you think he maybe is underestimating with it?
No, maybe they know, but if not, I'm gonna remind them September 13th. I can do a lot of things in the ring, and I'm gonna put everything there.
Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez voiced strong concerns about this matchup, making it clear he does not want to see Canelo Alvarez face Terence Crawford or anyone in that division. Sanchez argued the size disparity is too great and could pose real danger. Having already moved through multiple weight classes, Canelo may be pushing his limits by accepting challenges with significant physical disadvantages. From Sanchez's perspective, these risks not only threaten Alvarez's performance but could also shorten his career, exposing him to unnecessary harm that outweighs the potential rewards of such high-profile fights.
I don't want to see Terence fight Canelo, but I would love to see him fight anybody in that division because even up to 154 because I think he's the cream of the crop.
Well, why not Canelo? Is that just a little too much?
It'd be like Canelo fighting Machado. You know, he just, even though he's got a lot of talent, it's just not enough.
Former world champion Carl Froch observed that Terence Crawford's current condition makes him look both big and powerful, which could pose real problems for Canelo Alvarez. Froch emphasized that despite Canelo's greatness, he has not been untouchable throughout his career. He reminded fans of Alvarez's defeat to Floyd Mayweather and his more recent setback against Dimitri Bivol, fights that proved Canelo can be beaten when facing the right opponent. For Froch, these losses highlight that Crawford's combination of size, strength, and skill has the potential to put Alvarez under serious pressure once they meet in the ring.
Counter punches, fast hands, naturally the lighter man, so going to be naturally the quicker man. But I said earlier, he's looking bigger and stronger, so I think he's going to be able to cope with pressure from Canelo at times. But Canelo, I'm talking about, how does he win? And I think use his size, his strength, and his weight advantage, his natural weight advantage, to sort of bully Crawford around and push him back and put him under pressure, if indeed he can. And I just think that his natural ability, he's got high work rate, Canelo. He throws combination punches, he's great with a jab, he's defensive, he's a masterclass in it. He does everything really, really well, exceptionally well. But he's also tough, never been down, never been put over, never really looked like it did hurt. I mean, he's had a couple of losses, hasn't he? He's lost to Mayweather, he's lost to Dimitri Bivol, but he never really looked hurt. I think Bivol caught him with a couple of shots that may have buzzed him. Never went anywhere, did he? Never touched down on the canvas. So for Crawford to actually hit him and hurt him, or hit him and put him away, I can't see that happening. Canelo just needs to do what Canelo does, which is busy, excellent boxing masterclass work, but on his front foot, put Terence Bud Crawford under pressure. And that will probably be enough for him to get the job done. Now, for Crawford to win this fight, he's going to have to box and move, use his speed, use the ring craft, you know, the skills that we've seen time and time again. Ricky Burns, I mentioned, Kell Brook, the big win against Errol Spence. Nobody thought that would be a one-sided whooping, but that's what it was. Terence Crawford outclassed Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a phenomenal fighter. We know how good he is, and look what Bud Crawford managed to do to him. Such a quality fighter, and he's unbeaten as well. So he's coming into this fight, doesn't know how to lose. I know he's older than Canelo Alvarez. Has he got one eye on retirement? Maybe, but he's not going to want to go out on a loss. So Crawford needs to be fast behind the jab, combination punches, busy body and head, fast leg work all the way around the ring, use his speed, make Canelo reach like Bivol did.
Veteran broadcaster Jim Gray described this showdown as one of those rare fights that only come around occasionally, capturing the full attention of the boxing world. For Gray, the intrigue stems from the fact that both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are considered among the greatest fighters of their era. The matchup, he explained, is nearly impossible to predict because each man enters with unique advantages. Alvarez brings proven knockout power and the experience of countless high-profile battles, while Crawford offers unmatched versatility, elite skills, and the confidence of an undefeated record. Gray emphasized that this isn't a one-sided affair, but a true clash of icons with the potential to deliver a classic.
This could be to break down a fight. I mean, obviously the big focus is on the weight and coming up in the division. And, but look, Terence Crawford fights for both sides. And while Canelo has fought guys who, have been southpaws and so forth, they usually don't switch in the middle of the round. So you never know what can happen in these fights. Canelo is a bigger guy. And Canelo, we saw what happened to him when he went up against Bivol. So we know what that looks like. And so, it's a tough assignment to move up in weight, but Terence Crawford has taken on every tough assignment. And he looks in great shape, and, this guy's really something. So it's hard to say, if you start analyzing and breaking this down, there are advantages for both.
Former world champion Steve Collins offered a measured analysis of the upcoming clash, admitting he cannot confidently pick a clear winner. In his view, Canelo Alvarez still has enough left in his career to overcome Terence Crawford, while Crawford himself is widely regarded as the best fighter in boxing today. Collins highlighted that both men possess qualities capable of securing victory. Alvarez with his vast experience and proven toughness, and Crawford with his sharp intelligence and adaptability. His breakdown underscores why the fight divides so many opinions across the sport. For Collins, the outcome depends entirely on execution inside the ring, not pre-fight speculation.
Firmly picking Canelo, some people firmly picking Crawford. Where's your head at with this?
I'm a fan of Canelo. I love his style. I like how he fights. I like everything about him, his boxing. Crawford is a very very good fighter. And some people believe and think that maybe Canelo might not be taking him serious. People think, oh, Canelo's got this attitude, oh, I'm bigger than him, I'm stronger than him. This is what they think Canelo's thinking. And they think, people believe that Canelo goes in underestimating Crawford. He could be in for a shock. I don't believe Canelo is underestimating because he's too long in the tooth. He's been around the game. He's too wise and too successful to underestimate anybody. And also in saying that, Canelo's been around a long time. He's got a lot of hard fights under his belt, and I wonder, is every fight, next fight is going to be his last fight? Has Canelo still got it in the tank? We don't know. We know in the night Crawford is good enough to beat him. Canelo's good enough to beat Crawford, and in saying that, I'm looking forward to the fight because I really don't know. I can't pick a winner. That's what's great about this fight because I really cannot pick a winner.
Do you think size will play a factor in this fight?
But size can play a factor if you know how to use it to your advantage. Sometimes size can be to a disadvantage. I don't really think the size is going to make that much of a difference, really. But then Canelo is clever enough; he can use his weight to a positive. I don't really know. See, I can't simplify it and say, oh yeah, size will make a difference. That's what's great about this fight. I can't pick a winner.
Michael Bisping, the former UFC champion, weighed in on the highly anticipated boxing superfight by emphasizing its deeper meaning, legacy. He described Canelo Alvarez as the current face of boxing and recognized Terence Crawford as the undisputed champion in his division. For Bisping, this clash goes far beyond money or championship belts. Instead, it represents a battle for greatness. A victory for Canelo over an unbeaten, highly respected opponent like Crawford would further cement his already legendary career. Meanwhile, for Crawford, stepping up to challenge Alvarez offers the ultimate stage to prove himself against boxing's brightest star. Bisping's perspective highlights that both men are ultimately fighting to define their place in boxing history.
Canelo Alvarez is kind of the face of boxing, but he's currently the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter. Canelo is only number 8, and of course number 1 is Alexander Usyk. I feel a man that also, let's remember, moved up weight classes. If Crawford wins here, he becomes the first ever 3-weight undisputed boxing champion, but he's up against big competition in Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez is one of, if not the biggest star in boxing. All of the pressure is on Alvarez being the larger fighter, and also, as I said, being considered the face of boxing. Now Alvarez himself, he has unified the entire super middleweight division. After moving up from lower weight classes himself, unifying is a very rare achievement, but it also means that this fight is for all of Canelo's belts. Canelo is much more experienced, of course, his resume is stacked, and he's fought some of the best from 154 all the way up to 175. People like Triple G, 3 times, Amir Khan, Floyd Mayweather, Daniel Jacobs, Miguel Cotto, to name but a few. But his home has always been at 168 pounds. Canelo is unbeaten at super middleweight and only losing twice in his whole career versus Dimitri Bivol at light heavyweight in 2022 and Floyd Mayweather years ago, 2013, at 154 pounds. Funnily enough, 154 pounds is the highest weight that Crawford has competed at. Alright, if you're a boxing fan, then you're in for a treat because we've got a fight that transcends titles. We've got Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed champion, taking on the 3-division king, Terence Crawford. That is correct.
Bruce Carrington addressed the rumors of Canelo Alvarez sparring Jaron Ennis during his preparation for Terence Crawford, making it clear that such reports are often exaggerated. He explained that sparring is simply a training exercise and should not be mistaken for a real indicator of how the fight will unfold. Carrington stressed that practice sessions lack the pressure, stakes, and intensity of live competition, reminding fans that what happens in the gym doesn't necessarily translate to the ring.
And the thing is, sparring, bro. Like, it happens. Like, I've had my days where a dude might get the best of me, and then the next 4 or 5 times I spar him, I'm lighting him up. Like, it's like no competition at that point. That's how things happen.
But what did you say, and I could be wrong, you're the pro here, but isn't sparring the most essential part of preparing for a fight though?
It is to a certain extent. It is. I would say, but see, the thing is, like, when you're fighting, it's certain things you will and will not do. But like when you're sparring, you trying certain things. You're more loose. You're not as timid and thinking about throwing certain shots. Like you're rarely taking your time. Like this certain time I'm sparring, hand, like really, really like dead on sparring.
Respected analyst Max Kellerman noted that while Canelo Alvarez has already headlined countless major boxing events, this will mark the biggest fight of Terence Crawford's career, as he's never faced an opponent with Alvarez's star power under such a spotlight. Kellerman added that despite Canelo's vast experience, the bout remains hugely significant for him as well, ranking among the greatest challenges of his storied career.
One thing about Canelo is he's been in a million big events. And I'm going to ask him about this just between you and me when he gets here, don't tell him. But has he ever been in a bigger fight than this one? Is this everyone knows this is easily the biggest fight of Terence Crawford's career. But has he ever been in a fight as big as Canelo Alvarez, who's been in a million huge fights? Floyd Mayweather, that was huge and that was Floyd, but he was young then. He was young and he wasn't going to be in front of, 50 million people worldwide. Because this ain't a pay-per-view. This is available to everybody. I think Triple G, those were big fights, but not like...
Boxing journalist Dan Rafael described the matchup as fascinating but added a word of caution. He noted that neither Canelo Alvarez nor Terence Crawford looked particularly spectacular in their most recent outings, raising doubts about whether both remain at their absolute peak. Rafael expressed hope that this fight will push each man to bring the best version of himself into the ring. His comments underline the unpredictability of the contest and why fans are so intrigued. A showdown between two greats carries true weight only if both arrive in top form.
Really anticipated Canelo versus Crawford. It's approaching very, very soon. What do you think, Dan?
I mean, it's a big event. It's probably the biggest event of the year in boxing. They're both great fighters. They're both Hall of Famers in waiting. As a boxing fan, I'm thrilled because it's a very fascinating matchup with two all-time greats. With the obviously caveat that you got Terence Crawford moving up two weight classes to see what he can do against the undisputed champ. Neither guy looked good in their last fight, but I suspect they're going to be a lot more into this fight. You know who you got in front of you in September, and Crawford saying, I'm fighting the great Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's like, I'm fighting the 4-division champ, pound-for-pound type guy in Crawford that's never lost. I better be really prepared. So I'm hopeful that aspect that they're really tuned in will help make it a bigger and better fight.
Former champion Jarrett Hurd shared his personal experience sparring with Terence Crawford, offering valuable insight into the fighter's abilities. Hurd admitted he was unable to back Crawford up during their sessions, a testament to Crawford's strength, resilience, and remarkable ring intelligence. For Hurd, this serves as a warning to Canelo Alvarez that Crawford may be far more difficult to pressure than many anticipate. Such testimony from a fellow professional adds weight to the argument that Crawford possesses the tools to absorb and respond to heavy attacks. It further fuels debate over whether Canelo's power will be enough to break down such a durable opponent.
We're going to try and cut through all the intangibles, all the noise, and figure out exactly who is going to win this fight. There's a couple of things I've noticed before the fight mentally that might give us an indication as to where these two guys are at. The major talking point of physicality and size is something that we're absolutely going to have to cover. I'm definitely going to try and come down one way or the other on this before we see the two men in the ring. Can Crawford take those punches? Will he hit hard enough to hurt Canelo? How has preparation gone for the two men? And finally, tactically, do I think that Crawford can execute a game plan that would allow him to beat Canelo Alvarez and become the first ever 3-weight undisputed world champion? I'm probably going to change my mind a couple of times along the way in this one, guys, because it really is that hard to pick. So watch me as I go through the process of figuring out who wins this damn fight. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a guy called Henry. I'm absolutely buzzing for this fight. I know that the promotion and the hype for this one has been a bit weird. I don't know why. I really thought that Netflix were going to go all out on this because obviously the whole reason they put these fights on is to try and get more subscribers on their platform. And look, maybe it does giant numbers and I've just missed something here, but it does feel a little weird, this build-up. Even the weird face-off where they're standing on that float in the water, there's just something not quite there and not quite right with it. But it doesn't matter to me because I love boxing and I can put all that aside and go, I've thought about this endlessly, I've analyzed and assessed everything, and I just have the hardest time picking a winner here because I can see ways that both men can win. I can see what's more likely. I can see which way my mind is going, and it's a real battle for me here. Because sometimes I just have a feeling about things, but I hate feelings when it comes to boxing. It doesn't matter how you feel. facts are your friends. I'm going to try and give you as many facts, or at least try and read between the lines as much as I can in this video.
Analysts observing Terence Crawford's camp report that his team is training with remarkable intensity, focusing equally on sharpening skills and refining strategy. While rumors of a possible shoulder injury had circulated, they've since been dismissed as unfounded. The latest updates confirm Crawford's preparation remains uninterrupted, and he is expected to enter the fight in peak health. This reassures fans that the bout will showcase both fighters at their absolute best, with no excuses related to injuries or setbacks. For a clash of such historic significance, ensuring both men are fully fit is essential to delivering a true test at the highest level.
Canelo can land one shot to the body and he can take out Crawford. That's the reality of this fight. But look, the point of what I'm making here is if that shoulder injury is real, we're not going to know about it because Team Crawford's adamantly denied it. And let's just suppose that he is there for a payday. You're not going to know about any injury because they want people to buy the fight, they want people to watch it. And also, they're not going to want their opponent to know that there's any weakness coming into it to give them the best chance possible. And, we know Canelo likes to hit the arms where he can to tire you out and weaken you. So if that shoulder injury is legit, then there's massive problems, but let's assume that it's not going to be an issue in this prediction. There's also been the chat about Canelo sparring Jerome Bout Ennis, which is probably pretty good preparation, being he's a switch hitter, he's smaller and faster, similar to Terence Crawford in some ways, although I also think quite different, but are you going to get much better sparring than that? Probably not. People saying that it might have been too much for Canelo, it might have affected his confidence, taken too much out of him. I saw Teddy Atlas saying that, you don't want to break your guy in the gym and all this, and I just think we have no idea what kind of sparring they were doing. Jerome Ennis could have gone in there and done purely tech sparring.
Wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and boxing breakdowns ahead.